Make fun of my mask.
But yeah, you sell the stuff, and they thank you for your business, and cart it off somewhere else. Right, so you're directed to a warehouse a bit further away from where it docked, so you can either... Actually, it wouldn't even be possible to drive through the station with the cargo. You would have to undock and then move the ship to the cargo bay that they're in, where they want to stop.
Alright, so I guess we do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy, so you have to do the whole thing, but yeah, basically you weigh anchor and then head off. It probably takes you a couple of hours to get over there, then you roll out, you meet the contact listed in
Yeah.
contract, basically give him a ring and say, hey, we got the stuff, where you at? And then he gives you the location, go there, you unload the stuff from there, man, and a couple of other people, like maybe 5, 6 people total, they take charge of the cargo and sign off the paperwork. Needs to be signed, waving goodbye as they drive off with the truck into the massive warehouse.
That's it?
That's it.
I would just get 200k?
You check your accounts.
Yes, I check my accounts. And I hate when you do I hate when you do that so much. Wait, before we hand it in, can we check our accounts?
I mean, he's not gonna sign it off until
Yeah, but we're not gonna let them leave if they have our money. Until we have our money, right?
I mean, that's up to the contracts. Just say that you take it over there, deliver it to their care, and then that's it. That's what the contract says.
Oh, wait, last time when I asked, the contract's at 200k.
Yeah. There is a payment for it. But
There's
you do have the person's number if you want to call them up as they're leaving.
Yes, I would like to call them. Oh, yeah, call them up.
So you call the dude, and all smiles and sunshine, and thanks you for being so swift with your delivery.
I'd like to ask, where's our money?
And he says, well, the contract stated on our end at least that we'll pay the supplier, which we have done. We sent the transfer. We got the receipts of successful transfer. So if you want your cash, you will have to talk to the person who gave you the mission. We never had any instructions to pay you.
Oh god. Okay. Okay. So Ben, this is your guy. What the fuck's going on?
I don't know. I was under the impression from the beginning that this was basically a favored job. So, I mean, we can go back and ask him, but we might want to wait a while for New Eden to cool down.
Yeah, no, I can't really go back to New Eden like that. But yeah, so interesting. Also, 200k. Yeah, big points for that. What do we do now?
Well, I can go and talk with Rachel about the last job, and then we can look into what to do next.
Alright, you can go ahead. I need to get that investigator.
Right. So, well, you have someone here who can possibly help you out. not too far away from the warehouse. And then we set up a meet, and a couple of hours from now. Not the usual place you've been hanging out, but there is a bit of an upscale pub in the fancy trade district.
Alright.
Brody, because you wanted to grab some salvage parts, you can just mark that on your carriage sheet and knock off some cash for that.
How much for salvage?
Looking that up. No, me just one. Right. Ben, what were you saying while I look for this?
Yeah, so I'm able to meet her at the location with no problem.
Yeah. There's no issues, it's just slightly delay, so get there before.
Yeah, so I'll just explain to her the, we went out, scoped out the vehicle. We decided that it wasn't a above board job once we got there, because the instructions we were given were pretty vague, so we had to determine what to do about this car. So after that, we made a plan to steal the car, which went successfully, but then afterwards we examined the car, which had taken some damage, and it was pretty much irrecoverable, so we had to bail out at the end of the mission. The other part that made it really complicated is that New Eden, just went through a bunch of political turmoil, and so we get wrapped up in that as well. So we had to leave the planet pretty fast. So I basically just explained that to her, the short version of our escapade there.
Can you roll me, talk with charisma? Because you're clearly bullshitting, but just see how well you sell the lie.
Ooh, is this a new scene, by the way?
It is most definitely a new scene.
Oh, I feel much better about this.
Yeah, so she believes your story, and she just shakes her head regretfully. I wish the job could have gone better. A lot of stuff riding on that, but I suppose good thing you made it. The most important thing is that you made it out alive.
Yeah, I suppose so. Not everything can go too well, and to be honest, I was surprised that we all made it out alive by the time that mission was over. I also just imagine my character saying that, and I have pock marks from being shot with an SMG at least 50 times.
Don't worry, I healed you. Don't know how well.
I mean, there are some decorative bullet marks, obviously. But yeah, you give her whatever bullshit version of the story you want, and she believes it. So, did you want anything else to happen with this? Or?
Yeah, so I'll ask her if she just happens to have another job. If she doesn't, then I will go and look for other work or other contacts.
Message him and ask him to find out who asked us to, who was the person that asked us to hire. Who hired us? Who was the contractor?
Well, you might be able to message me for that, but I seem to remember when we got the job that I was asking that, because I remember, and she said that there was a no questions asked situation.
Yeah, but she also didn't tell us that we were gonna get fucked.
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know if she had any way of knowing that though.
Ask. Convince her to tell us. I don't trust her. You might trust her. I don't trust her.
So what she said was, it's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
But she wasn't gonna tell. She was basically holding that info hidden, and with the promise that if this job went well, and the way it should, she would make introductions, so you would meet face to face, and that would be a future business arrangement. But because this went sideways,
Her friend fucked us though.
All right, yeah. So if that's the case, then I'll try to pressure her into maybe getting an idea of who hired us. Basically, I'll bring up that it seemed like someone was waiting for us when we went to rob the car, and then after that, before we'd even finished the robbery, there were people who were onto us, and so I feel like someone on their end might have leaked the information.
so she sits down with a drink, takes a deep pull out of it, thinks for a bit, and she says, "Don't think that's likely, considering it was a retrieval job. And I don't know the details, but if you were dumb enough to steal it in broad daylight in front of security without any distractions, then who knows? But I can ask around, see if I can find something else."
Yeah. Okay. I'll see about that then.
If you're gonna pressure her to give up her friend's name, that would be I do believe that would be a talk with charisma again.
All right, I'll try that then.
If you wanna put some sauce onto it, and it's still the same scene, so you don't have the rule. Yeah, so you put some hot sauce onto that, and yeah, she seems very reluctant, but eventually tells you the name of her friend. And maybe if the way I'm kind of imagining this is that you're explaining a bit more like how you were, how it seems like you were set up, and things just went bad from the start, and she sits there, listens to what you're saying, drinking a bit, and maybe she seems very reluctant about the whole thing, and then she says, "I don't believe that Dominic would sell you out, because he really wanted his car back."
Okay. Yeah, I think.
Sorry, I was gonna say, didn't we understand it to be their car, the people that owned it up there?
I mean, you have made some wild assumptions, and I've never bothered to correct you on them, because it's interesting to see what crazy shit you come up with.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's basically that's the only information I was wanting to shift around. So after that, it's all just normal pleasantries and formalities, and then we go our separate ways like usual.
Another job? You want to ask for another job?
Well, yeah, I already asked for that.
Oh, sorry.
That was basically the goal of this, was ask for another job and tell her about the last job. And then if she doesn't have another job, then at some point while I'm here, I'll look for another one, another contact.
Yeah, so she told you that, you know, if something comes up, she gives you a call.
All right.
But at least now you know the first name. So if you wanna start look around for a Dominic who is wealthy enough to own a sports car of that caliber, you know, you can certainly start doing it. But at least you have a lead now.
All right.
So if you want to find some other jobs, then you can certainly give me a connect with or intelligent, depending on what you want. So Brody, after you go grab your spare parts, do you want to do anything else here, or are you just waiting for everyone to get back so you can leave again?
I'm just putting my parts away so
Yeah, your thing is in 306, which will take a couple, maybe yeah, it will take a week to get there from where you are right now, and it starts on the 1st. In case you forgot.
I know I have to.
All right, so Ben, what kind of stuff are you looking for here?
Yeah, so I think I'm looking for jobs that similar jobs to the ones we've had so far, but something that pays a little bit, you know, pretty well, might be dangerous or slightly illegal, and so, you know, and anything that'll take us far away from civilization would be good too. Had a bit of a headache with the last run, so that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking.
Alright, well, are you doing anything other than... Yeah, you had your bounty hunter thing with you. Private invest.
Private
So
invest.
what did you want to accomplish with this then? Because you find someone who is skilled at what they're doing. What, you want to do?
Yeah, I want to hire him to investigate Lord Petraeus and his family and get me as much information on their holdings, their business partners, their associates, and anything they can tell me about, you know, their lives.
Alright, so you want basically a current, and you basically want a background thing, and you know what they're connected to.
Yes. What they're currently doing, what they're planning, anything they can find. I want someone to be on their tail basically at all times. Anytime there's a new information, or you know, somewhere they might be going, some kind of big deal, I want to know about it.
So, person sits there for a bit, and you know, middle-aged man, dark-skinned, has short-cropped black hair, sitting there with ripped t-shirt and a denim vest, leather pants, high-neck boots. Visibly armed though, which is unusual because most people on these base stations in this system are not allowed to carry visible arms. Apparently this one has permits or no reason. And you say, you know, you give him mission, he sits there, thinks for a bit, says, a high-profile person like that will cost a lot.
How much?
Yes, it will be a lot that will be required of me to do, and I need to outsource some things.
How much would it cost?
Including travel and general expenses, I'd say at least 200,000. With the extensive information that you want, I would have to hire someone to hack through security walls, computers. obtain records and court documents and all that. It's gonna be expensive.
Okay, good to know. I will get back to you on that. Can I get your contact information and your
Yeah,
name and all
he
that?
gives you his like business card basically.
Okay. I know. Can I just give me a name or something? Or
Yeah, having the random generator.
go Google random name generator.
There you go. Fixed it. Wrote it in bold.
I think I got it. Thank you. 200K. Well, I know what my next goal is.
So, Ben, you said you wanted to leave civilization.
Yeah, like if there's some mission where, supplying a distant colony or salvaging a wreck or something, that would be good. I'll still take a city mission if it's available, but that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for.
Alright. And you had roll a 9. It's fascinating because I really had nothing planned for this. Because the stuff I had planned was further down in the timeline because I expected you to. Well, I didn't think you'd be level 2 starfarers. Kind of timeline just
Oh.
super hard.
Yeah, that kind of skips a few things, doesn't it? Now, if we buy a drive upgrade, that's going to skip a few more things.
Yeah, it's fine. Ben, do you by any chance recall that actually, Mombo, the conversation we had before we started today, you mentioned you wanted to do something else as well.
Yeah,
Still in civilized place.
I was going to look into upgrading the ship, and the other thing is I was thinking on the idea of building a permanent base somewhere. A couple of things we might be able to use a base for, especially if we find like some really valuable cargo, but we don't necessarily want to sell it right away. We'll be able to store it there, or if we have someone we need to give a safe house or something like that, we can send them there. Just some type of permanent base. So which one of those do you want more detail on first?
Well, if you want to put up a permanent base, like for storage, for example, this would be like the perfect place.
Yeah. Okay, I was thinking that too with Calixus.
Yeah, because how the structure is basically most of the habitational residential stuff is in orbit, and then most of the planet is basically like Fallout style vaults in the ground, which are basically massive warehouses, like kilometer wide warehouses kind of thing, where you store all the cargo. So if you were, for example, to buy a storage vault, for example, on the planet, that would be belong to you, to all of you, for example. Like no one would bat an eyelid about that, because it's just one more like small investment.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. No, I was thinking of. I mean, I figured a space station would be possible, but I was thinking a vault on the ground would be ideal. So that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you can choose. You can have have something on the space station or on the planet below. It's entirely up to you. The cost is the same. It's just it takes a bit extra time to go through the atmosphere, down to the planet and land. But yeah, with that, if you want, you can only would this be a connect with charisma because you wanted that one for the job. So if you're only one, you find some bureaucrat that is willing to deal with you on this one. Yeah, so they don't tell you to piss off, but they are not the most favorably inclined ever. So they're willing to deal with you and negotiate and go through it. So what kind of... So there are several types of storage spaces. The smallest one, which is also the cheapest one, is basically, like a football field. So I guess soccer or baseball field size subterranean warehouse where you can store things, but you have to land on the planet and manually load everything in. And then there are warehouses that are bigger, and the ones that you can land a spaceship in as well. So you basically land on the surface on the landing pad, and then it just lowers through a hydraulic lift, just lowers into the ground and then the top closes. So it's completely environmental still. Like there is a whole range of options for you if you want something specific.
All right. Yeah. So, is that basically set up to be sold, or is there anything else involved with it?
Yeah, I think as you sit down in in her office, they outline, or he and her associates dealing with it, and they're basically running you through the process and giving you giving you visuals, pictures and such, and of the actual storage space, and have also like on the map, so you can select where on the planet you want your storage bunker to be. Yeah, so depending on where you want it to be, and also where, like the size of it, the cost will change. And if you want to negotiate the price, we can do an opposed trade roll and see if you get a favorable price or not.
Yeah, I'll try that. Trade in charisma.
Yeah, trading. So you win. So you get. Let's do with the simple trade roll. So you get 20% discount. So what kind of storage space are you looking for? Do you just want something super basic and secure, or do you want something populous?
Yeah, I'd like something secure, but the stuff that I expect we'll be storing here will be large amounts of material and vehicles. So those are the main things I'm looking for. And I assume that if we were willing to spend the money, most of these we would probably be able to upgrade anyway at some point, if we needed to.
Yeah. If you buy one of the smallest one, for example, you could still upgrade it down the line. It's just gonna be costing a bit extra, rather than buying the large one from the start, for example. Might tack on like a 5% renovation fee or something like that, for fancy new coat of paint or some such.
Yeah.
But it's whatever your wallet, whatever you feel comfortable with. And you can either, and it's also something they outline in the various contracts, you can either buy it outright, or you can lease it for, a duration of time. And then if you decide to lease it, there is a payment plan for that. So if you, let's say you lease it for a year, you can divide it up into like a monthly payment, or annual, like a bi-monthly, or every quarter, for example, 1 or 2 every 6 months.
Yeah. How much does the a cheap vault that has a little bit of cargo space and some vehicle space? How much would that cost?
So everyone, even the cheapest and smallest one, is still, like I said, this basically the size of a soccer field.
Yeah.
Or a baseball field. I don't know the exact size, but I visually know in my head how that looks. So you'll be able to store a lot of cargo and vehicles in that. I think the main question is, are you interested in being able to land the ship and then have it come down into the cargo space, or do you just want to land and then offload manually into it?
Yeah, I think landing and offloading manually into it would be a good start.
No, so what I'm trying to say is, like, if you want the most basic one, you won't land outside, and then you manually put the stuff into the warehouse. The fancy one with the retractable landing pad, you land on the pad and then it retracts inside the bunker, so your ship is inside the bunker, and then you can offload inside.
Yeah.
If that made any sense.
I mean, if I could get the prices on both of them, I'm just assuming that I won't be able to afford the fancier one. That's why I opted for the cheaper one.
Alright, so the cheapest one is 25,000, and then if you want the cheapest one with the fancy landing pad, it's 50,000.
Okay, yeah. I'll probably... I have 36,000 on me, so I'll go ahead and just outright buy the 25,000 one.
I mean, I could have chipped in if you wanted.
Yeah, okay. I'll say while I'm setting all this up, I'll contact Vel and Brody, and I'll just say... in fact, I'll send them the pictures of both of these places, and basically say, hey, I can straight up buy the first one of these, or if you guys want, one with a interior storage for our ship, then you could chip in a little bit and we can buy it.
Yeah, I'm gonna message him back and tell him I'll chip in. Just let me know how much I need to send.
I muted myself, sorry.
I think that might clear up what I was trying to say before, but I completely dirked on it. So it's with or without hangar space for a spaceship.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So we probably want with a hangar because we want to be able to just land in there, right?
Well, yeah, ideally we'd have one with a hangar. I think you said the one with the hangar is 50,000, so if...
For the one with...
Yeah.
A question with this is, what would we use it on exactly?
The base?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if
This is the
we...
base?
And so if we come across like a bunch of resources and we don't want to immediately sell them, or maybe there's not a good price for them or something, like maybe some archaeotech or something like that, then we could store it here. The other thing we can do, we can use this as a staging area for other missions, and if we have anybody who needs to hide somewhere, then we can also use this as a safe house.
So you want Calixtus to be our basically home base?
Yeah, it
Where
can.
we go, 'cause it is in the middle of everything, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and also it's normal on Calixtus for people to build these large underground vaults, and so having a big underground vault isn't going to stick out or look weird or anything here.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do it, we might as well do the 50k one because we do have the money in the ship.
Yep, I'm fine with
And
that.
that way we can, if we're ever gonna upgrade, we don't have to upgrade we don't have to add a hangar, which would probably, like you said, if it costs extra, probably instead of being 25k extra, it'd be like 30k extra. Right? So might as well just do the 50k right now and get it over with. This, are we doing this? Should I just do the minus on the ship?
Yeah, I mean, I plan on doing it. I have 36.
So I just did minus 50k.
Yeah, okay.
Oh no, I'm just gonna do the ship money.
Yeah,
Now, if this
that
is
works.
Gonna be Yeah, for everyone. Because it's not just for you. Like, if it's just for you, then I, go ahead and go ahead and use your money. But if it's for all of us, you might as well just use the ship money, and then we'll, again, split the profits afterwards.
Alright, cool. So, yeah, that's what I do for the base. And as for the ship, what type of drive do we have? Do we just have a default drive, or do we already have an upgrade on our
Spike
drive?
drive 1.
Spike
No,
drive
we
1.
don't have. It costs 100k for a Spike Drive 2, and I believe 200k for 3. But yeah.
Where do you see that at? Because the page I'm on, they seem to be a lot cheaper, so it might be something different.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but if you read the first paragraph, it's times 10, I believe. What page are you on?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. 96.
Yeah, that's what I thought last time too, and the Hellforge is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I was trying to figure out why it only has them for fighters, and so yeah, the asterisk corresponds to 10 times 10. So yeah, I don't think I'll be upgrading the spike drive of the ship. Is there anything else? Did we already upgrade the ship at Therion? I remember we talked about it, but
no,
I don't...
We didn't have... Yeah, we talked about it, but like I said, we needed 200k. I was hoping we'd get the 200k from this delivery.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna upgrade. Unfortunately, Hellforge had other plans for us.
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait on that. Alright, so that's all I got for this stop.
Right, you should have, all of you should have a hand up now.
A handout, you say? Property owned. Nice, thank you.
Yeah, so you can keep track.
Cool. So any big things we want to leave here, if we don't want it to like take space in our cargo. Cool. All right. So what do we?